Good morning, good afternoon, welcome. Kent Bain with Nine Business Group and Elevate Chat. We have the pleasure of joining us on our business spotlight interview today, Adam Signfield of Rapid Test and Trace. Adam, welcome. Please introduce yourself, your company, and what makes you unique and different.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Kent. Pleasure to be here. My name is Adam, as you said. I guess that's funny. But I founded Rapid Test and Trace Canada in December 2020 as an advocacy movement to promote the use of rapid tests in the fight against COVID. And that kind of started as an advocacy movement and morphed into an e-commerce business by the start of 2021. I think we had our first sale in April 2021. And what made us unique at the time in Canada was we were one of the only places that you could actually buy a COVID test, and the governments were really dragging their heels on getting the COVID test out for free. So that gave us a distinct advantage in the marketplace. And we were able to really scale a e-commerce operation to high volume that we never really thought we would get to at the start. And now we have a global operation, big team, offering virtual services, a variety of e-commerce plays, and we manage a portfolio of websites that include operations in Canada, the US, and Australia. And we're looking now beyond COVID, because obviously the pandemic is ending, at turning Rapid Test and Trace Canada into, or it's becoming kind of one of the family of brands belonging to RT Medical, which is the next step of our business that we're launching here in Q4 2022.
Cool. What is RT Medical? Or you're not at liberty to say because it's still in the design stage?
No, we're kind of soft launch mode right now, so I'm happy to share. RT Medical is going to be more of a telehealth services provider. So we're building a virtual clinic that will offer specialty services in niche areas that we think are of need right now in Canada. So to start, the two niche services that we're offering are virtual prescription calls to get a script for Paxlovid, which is a COVID antiviral pill that you can get for free at pharmacies, but sometimes it's difficult to get in to see a doctor and get that script in time. And the thing with Paxlovid is that you need to take it within 5 days of your symptom onset. So it becomes kind of like a pressure scenario where, you know, if you test positive on a Friday and then you can't get in to see your doctor by Monday or Tuesday to get that script, then unfortunately Paxlovid won't be a benefit to you. So this virtual service is a way around that for patients. And then also we have a specialized telehealth clinic that offers a recovery care package and a variety of services to help people dealing with long COVID syndrome. Which is a real issue right now in the healthcare system in Canada. We're talking with different clinics that offer in-person post-COVID care. In Ottawa, for example, there's one that's offers a great service, but unfortunately the waiting list is over a year long. And I think that's the case throughout the country right now with the strains on our healthcare system. So we're really excited about that post-COVID clinic and already seeing the first couple patients coming through. And, you know, any startup, you get those first patients or first customers and you learn along the way and tweak as you go to improve your service and your offering. And that's kind of the phase we're in right now. In addition to managing the 3 e-commerce websites that provide COVID tests shipped to your door, and then also virtual testing services to give people the certificates they need to travel. So the restrictions have ended for a lot of countries, but there's still about 40 countries that require a proof of negative test to get in. Okay. And also cruise ships is a big area right now where a lot of cruise lines are requiring a proof of negative COVID test to get on the cruise. And some cases, employers as well, like that backup proof of negative for employees before entering the building.
Cool, fascinating. So in the 2 years, just probably a little over 2 years in your business journey, what has been the biggest challenge you had to overcome? How did you tackle it? How did you solve it? What was the outcome?
Yeah. So in our business journey, it's funny because my partners and I, Sandy and Harkeet, the 3 of us started the company. And we all thought that this was, you know, sort of a side hustle. Like we were doing a good thing, helping people get the COVID test they needed. But early 2021, vaccines were getting rolled out. There was optimism that the pandemic was ending. And we thought really the whole thing would be done by September, by the fall of 2021. So we kept it a really tight operation. It was just the three of us. And when you think that you're running a short-term business that doesn't have a long runway, you kind of make decisions a certain way, right? Like you don't need to do everything to a perfect level. You cut corners where you can, you just kind of go quick. And then what happened in the fall, I don't know if you remember back to this time last year in August and September 2021, but COVID kind of went the opposite direction and blew up. And then we were going back into lockdowns, unfortunately, and the demand for rapid tests went through the roof. And that tenfolded come December when Omicron hit. So the biggest challenges for us were, how do you go from this small short-term business of just like, three guys doing this on their own to scaling up to doing thousands of orders a day. And that involved a number of changes, like switching from, at the start, we were processing orders ourselves and we had to move to warehouses. Interim orders with Health Canada were ending, so we had to apply for different licenses. As the order volume grew, the customer demand and the customer service demand grew, and we had to scale up a team literally from, zero or the three of us to, I think at the peak we had 30 or 40 customer service staff helping with all the inquiries coming from our customers across the globe. So I think that's been the biggest challenge, is the on-the-fly kind of transition or transformation of our whole approach to doing the business and to managing the business. And now an extension of that is, how do we go from, okay, this thing is going to end quickly, to how are we building for the future and setting ourselves up for the long term in a number of different areas.
Fascinating. So where does this stand now? You still got the 30, 35 customer service agents, or it's been shifted to kind of the different businesses and adopting going forward?
It's shifted a bit. So one of the areas that we, when I say you kind of cut corners when you're small, is you don't invest, let's say, in the technology and the operational tools that you would to run a larger size business, right? So simple example, but at the start, we didn't have a ticketing system, right? So it was web forms that sent to email. That quickly became overwhelming. And then kind of on the fly last September, October, we realized, okay, we need a proper ticketing system. We were touching client requests too many times by too many people, and there was no tracking. So that's part of the reason why we had to scale up the customer service team so much, was because we didn't have the tools and the systems in place to properly manage the volume. So we got a ticketing system. We were using intercom, right? So we have the web chat. We can manage that, both sales inquiries and customer service. And as our tools and processes improved, we were able to scale down on our staffing. And then the other big staffing component we had was, as we launched our virtual testing services to get the certificates to travel, at the time, this was like spring 2022, so everybody wanted to get back out there and travel again. And the US and Canada were still requiring that proof of negative. So the demand was huge, and we had about 150 nurses on staff at the time. Obviously, that had to ramp down as the demand dropped due to regulations changing. So right now, our core team, I think we're in that sort of, with full-time and part-time, 30 to 50 people.
Excellent. What is the one thing you know now that you wish you would have known when you started the business?
I guess it goes back to that long-term outlook. I wish at the start, had we known where we would be in the future, so I guess in short, I wish I could predict the future.
Well, it is interesting because, in business coaching, business itself, it's set that long-term goal, work backwards, etc. And you guys went in more to solve a problem than necessarily to launch a business, right? And to help as opposed to growing a business. So it does make sense that in all reality, there was no long-term vision. There was no outlook as to, if we start this, what is it going to look like in 5 years? Like, well, in reality, it's going to be over. So good for you for launching, helping, and then adjust and say, we got a going concern here. So how do we grow it and scale it?
Yeah.
All that being said, if you look at your industry, what are the top 3 challenges your industry faces in the next 18 to 24 months?
So I guess our industry, with RT Medical and the future of our business, and the rapid test applies there too, because it's a class 4 medical device in Canada and has similar regulations in other countries. So I look at our industry kind of private healthcare, telehealth. The challenges we face right now are going to be, I think, consumer acceptance or awareness, especially in Canada. So our telehealth services are primarily focused in Canada for the launch at least. So I think as a Canadian, we all are used to getting free healthcare, and more we're seeing that the model of free healthcare is broken in Canada, unfortunately. If you look at ER closures across the country and different examples like that of issues in the healthcare system. And more people in the medical industry and experts are calling for some sort of hybrid model of a mix of private care and free public care. But I don't know if regular Canadians are ready to accept that and willing to accept that. So I think that's going to be a big challenge for us. It's a competitive market. The technology is a big piece of it. You look at some of the people that we would be up against, or companies that we would be up against, like a Maple, for example. And I know that these are largely tech companies who've had, big rounds of investment and probably carrying a lot of debt in some cases. So there's definitely competition. And then I think just our own ability to adapt and shift on the fly with everything going on as a small team, we're still kind of figuring out our footing. We're a startup in the true sense, only kind of 18 months into our journey here. So yeah, there's some challenges to overcome, but I think we have a strong team in place, and we're confident in our ability to figure it out.
What is, not a question I was going to ask, but I'm curious, what is TELUS doing in telemedicine space? Like, what you go from TELUS being your fiber optic telephone company, any thoughts, or have you come across TELUS and why on earth are they getting into this healthcare space?
Yeah, I think a lot of companies are looking to get into the healthcare space. I know, like, even Amazon had a play there as well. I think they recently shut it down, that division, though. It was more focused on corporate clients, so offering, as a client, as part of your healthcare package, that maybe you have some private care options to your employees. I think companies see the potential in the market and where healthcare is going in general. There are a lot of examples from across the world where other countries have a good private-public mix, and they're looking to leverage kind of the existing technology or different business units they have in play to help people get the care they need.
Interesting. What's your definition of a successful business?
Well, one that's profitable. I think, we're not a public company, we're a private company, so we don't have any, we don't owe anything to shareholders or responsibility to shareholders. But as an owner in the business, you definitely want to see that you're running the business profitably and responsibly. At the same time, and this is one of the reasons why I like being in the healthcare space, is that we are helping people. Even selling COVID tests when no one else was doing it, maybe it was a bit of a gray area, but I had people literally like picking up a box of tests that they had ordered because there was a UPS delay with their shipment, and they needed those tests to test people prior to their wedding, or they wouldn't feel comfortable letting the guests in. This was last summer, and I remember it's like the relief that you see on people's faces that finally, yes, okay, we found these tests and we could test the people we wanted, our guests, and ensure that we offered a safe environment, right? So as a business owner, it's great when you can run a business responsibly and profitably, but then also actually help people with the services you're offering.
Excellent. Well said. What do you want to be known for?
Our vision is to be a leader in the telehealth space in the future. So within the next 5 to 10 years, I think we're kind of right now a great Canadian startup story. If you look at the amount of jobs we've created, the amount of people we've helped, the volume of orders that we've processed in such a short period of time. I think looking back on it in 10 years from now, I'd love to see what we've created become kind of a case study that people look at.
Fascinating. So when you say leader, is that defined by size, or defined by number of people, or defined by your impact on the industry? Any idea?
I would define it in the telehealth space. Quality of care to me would be the most important. I think as companies, a lot of different companies jump into the telehealth space. One of the challenges that every company is going to face is how do you onboard quality care providers and give them the training they need to give that high quality customized experience to the patients. And I think when we compare ourselves to some of the bigger players in the market right now as a startup, offering a really specialized, high quality level of care is our goal.
Absolutely fascinating. Good for you. Again, thank you for your time today. One last plug for Rapid Test and Trace. Where can people find you? Where can they learn more about you and place orders?
Yeah, sure. I mean, right now it's great. I think we started as an advocacy movement to hopefully create awareness and pressure government to make it easier for Canadians to get free tests. Right now, it seems to be in different pockets of the country, but it seems like that has happened, right? There are a lot of places you can get free tests, so that's fantastic. If you're unable to get free tests, rapidtestandtrace.ca is our website in Canada to have it shipped to your door. If you order before noon Eastern, we can have it'll ship out that day and be with you the next day. Just in last couple of months, newly approved in Canada is a spit test. So it's great for kids because they don't have to nasal swab. They just kind of spit into the funnel that goes into the tube. So that's great with back to school season coming. I know my son was coughing this morning and we kind of look, oh, the time to test what's going on. And then the telehealth the telehealth business, the best place to learn more about us is rtmedical.ca.
Excellent. Thanks again. And please check out Adam and his team for all your questions. Have a great weekend.